Hello Mud Dog fans, and welcome to another episode of South Central Louisiana State Mud Dogs Dynasty. This is John J Gaming, and today we're going to be going up against the Troy Trojans here at home. And if you're brand new to the channel, make sure you hit that like button as well as that subscribe button, so that you can get yourself comfortable with more college football as well as pro basketball content from your boy. But going into this actual game though, going into the very first play of the game, quarterback sends Casey Bug out into the motion, tries to throw it over the middle, and was almost picked off right away. Almost a terrible start by this Mud Dogs offense, but thankfully that ball was dropped and we'll be able to live another day. Very next play is going to be a handoff now to Casey Bug, who's going to carry it for 6 yards. And, Casey, is having a decent season so far for 2 games. Has 130 yards and 2 touchdowns. Not as effective as he was last year, but is on the field more often and is definitely helped for us as Tim Smith makes the really nice catch for 17 yards on the play. And does a real good job with the cutback route. Really nice connection between Stan Castillo and Tim Smith, both who are freshmen. Couple of plays later, though, Mud Dogs are now facing a 2nd and 9. And Stan Castillo is all by himself in the shotgun. It's going to be a throw over the middle to TJ Wood, who catches it for 9 yards on the play and makes it a very short 3rd and 1. So here we are, 3rd and 1. Only need to get a yard here, and we're going to get just that and so much more, with Casey Bug able to carry it up the middle once again for a 12-yard gain on the play. Very next play, this time Stan Castillo is out in the shotgun and is picked off by Monroe. Monroe is able to make a decent cut up field, breaks a tackle, and gets it into nearly the 50-yard line. What a promising drive for Mud Dogs that was instantly stopped by that interception by Monroe. So now the Troy Trojans now have the ball for the very first time today, at the 50-yard line nonetheless. See what the Troy Trojans can do here, and it's going to be a throw over the middle to Stephen Bailey, who catches it for 12 yards. Very next play with the Troy Trojans going into their no-huddle offense. This time, Conway's going to drop back, and he's going to be sacked for a loss of 5 yards on the play, as Nicholas Beverly was able to get through the chop block, is able to stay with the play, and he's able to get the sack as a result of that. A couple of plays later now, Troy Trojans are facing a 3rd and 15, and it's going to be a throw over to the left-hand side, and it's nearly picked off, but we'll definitely take the 4th and 15 as the Troy Trojans are going to be forced to punt it away. So we don't have to pay for the interception, thankfully, as Stan Castillo runs it out of bounds for a gain of 8 yards on the play, as the game score will still remain tied at 0. Next play, it's going to be an option to Casey Bug, who takes the right up the gut, and it's just a wide open hole for him to run through as he gains 10 yards on the play. Very next play, we're going to move into the option once again. This time it's going to go to Stan Castillo, who's going to opt to keep it and gain 7 yards on the play. Keeps it a nice and reasonable 2nd and 3. Very next play, this time it fakes at the Bug, and it's going to be a throw over to the right-hand side over to, it looks like TJ Wood once again, but he drops the pass, and instead it's going to be a 3rd and 3. 3rd and 3 now, and Casey Bug just did not have any running room to get into the hole, get that first down, and just like that, the Mud Dogs are going to have to punt away for a 2nd time today. Troy Trojans now have the ball to start this little possession, and it's going to be a throw over to the left-hand side to Stephen Bailey once again, who gains 9 yards on the play. Makes it a very short 2nd and 1. Troy had the first down there for a second, but receiver decided to cut back. But a couple plays later, he throws a nice little dot over the left-hand side, and John Gatewood, this time around, gets a massive gain of 30 yards on the play. Gets the chains moving, and so much more for Troy. Very next play is going to be a throw over in the middle to Stephen Bailey, who breaks a couple of tackles and gains 17 yards on the play. And just like that, and Troy is on the verge of getting into the red zone in just a flash of a couple of plays. Next play is going to be a throw over to William Hill, who gets pummeled by Bobby Boucher, and it's going to be a 4th down for Troy, and they're going to have to settle for the field goal. So now the Troy Trojans are up 3-0 with about a minute and a half left in the first quarter as Casey Bug takes the carry for 10 yards. Mud Dogs have a little bit of a hard time moving the ball early on, but hopefully this is a possession where they start to get things going, and this just might be it. Is it? Oh man, thought that was going to potentially be a touchdown right there as Casey Bug had a nice hole and he had a nice convoy ahead of him, but safety is able to get in between the blockers. But hey, still going to be first down, and we're still going to be able to move this ball forward. Stan Castillo is going to drop back the pass here, and Tim Smith's actually going to drop it for him this time around. Passing game is off to a slow start. They're 2-6 on the day so far. As Tim Smith this time he holds on to it. He breaks a couple of tackles, and just like that, your Mud Dogs are in the red zone. Huge gain off the curl route as Tim Smith makes multiple defenders miss, and it's going to be a first down just about the 15-yard line. Couple of plays later, now facing a 2nd and 10, it's going to be a draw play up the middle as Carl Wright this time around takes the carry and gains 8 yards on the play, makes it a really short 3rd and 2. So here we are, 3rd and 2. The Mud Dogs call one of their money plays, but it looks like this time around there's not going to be any money in the bank as Stan Castillo loses a couple yards on the play, and they are going to have to settle for a field goal. This game has a lot of makings from last year's game against the Troy Trojans, where it was very much a defensive battle. It will be interesting to see if it stays that way for the majority of this ball game. 3rd and 9 now for Troy. They're going to try to get the halfback screen going, but the Mud Dogs are simply ready for it as they rally to the ball, and the Troy Trojans are going to have to punt this ball away. Nice play by the defense right there. Mud Dogs are now going to take over at the 25-yard line after the touchback by the Trojans punter, and it's going to be a run up the gut for Casey Bug once again, who's able to stumble around and gain 9 yards on the play. Sets up a really short 2nd and 1 for the Mud Dogs coming up. Next play, it's going to be a play action pass up the middle to TJ Wood, who this time does make the catch for 15 yards on the play. Nice first down, really nice way to sell the defense on the smash by Stan Castillo as well. Couple of plays later, now the Mud Dogs are facing a 3rd and 7 here, but Casey Bug is going to get the pass from Stan Castillo, and he's able to get the first down. Nice play by the Mud Dogs duo in Stan Castillo and Casey Bugs. Next play, I thought this pass was going to be deflected, but Tim Smith is able to will his way to make the catch, and it's going to be a nice 17-yard gain on the play. What a nice win on the one-on-one on the outside. Next play, this time 1st and 10 at about the red zone. Stan Castillo is going to take it up the middle, who's going to gain 9 yards on the play, and it's going to be a short 2nd and 1 coming up here. A couple of plays later, this time with the 1st and goal, we're going to chuck it up the middle, and it nearly gets intercepted by Jimmy Davis, who has his 2nd deflection already today. A couple of plays later, see what Mud Dogs can come up with, and John Espinoza gets wide open, and it's going to be a touchdown for your Mud Dogs. The Mud Dogs are going to be able to get the first touchdown of this ball game, and they are going to pull ahead with a score of 10-3. So now the Troy Trojans are going to take over after the touchdown between Stan Castillo and John Espinoza. See what Troy can come up with, and it's going to be a throw to the left-hand side for Ben Hall, who gains 15 yards on the play. Troy is now going to move into their no huddle, as they typically like to do whenever they gain any yards on the play, and it's going to work out for them pretty well this time around as Stephen Bailey gains 20 yards this time around. So Troy is really driving themselves down this football field. It's going to be fumbled. Hang on now. Although Stephen Bailey is there to pick it up, Baba Boucher was there to force the fumble from the quarterback run, but the receiver was right next to him when he fumbled the ball, and still going to be Troy football. Next play is coming off of the fumble. It's going to be a short pass up the middle to Ben Hall, and the drive is going to stall out. Troy is going to settle for another field goal, making this a 10-6 game now. Next play, it's going to be a throw to the left-hand side, trying to get it out to, it looks like Tim Smith once again, but Nice defensive play. Very next thing is going to be a halfback screen over to Casey Bug, and the Troy Trojans are going to take a timeout as the Mud Dogs are going to be forced to punt away. So now Troy, just like that, has an opportunity to take the lead going into halftime as Ben Hall makes the catch for a gain of 7 yards on the play. Although the next play, that gets mitigated by another sack by Doug Cunningham. He gets his first sack of the day, I believe, and it's going to be 3rd and 8. See what Troy comes up with now. It's going to be a throw over to the right-hand side, but Ben Hall doesn't have any room to run. So now the Mud Dogs might have a chance to get some points on the board to end the half. Be interesting to see what happens here. 22 seconds left. It's going to be thrown over the middle, and Darren Joyce is there to make the catch. Darren Joyce with the speed runs behind everybody, and we have an opportunity to maybe get a touchdown to end the half. It'll be interesting to see what happens here as Casey Bug gets out of bounds. 10 seconds left in this first half, so looks like we'll have one more chance to get into the end zone before we go into halftime. And we're going to throw it over the middle, and it's thrown too late as he is nearly picked off. Mud Dogs are going to have to settle for a field goal, and just like that, the Mud Dogs are going to take a 13-6 lead into halftime. I do believe that the Troy Trojans are going to get the ball first, which they most definitely do. Definitely has the makings of the first game. First game last year, it was only a 24-10 win for the Mud Dogs, and it looks a lot like that, where it's going to be a defensive battle and could get a little ugly, to be honest with you. But hey, we're winning this game, and our defense is playing extremely well, and that's been reflected throughout this entire season. Next play, though, is going to be a throw over to the right-hand side to Hill, Ben Hall. He makes the catch, but he's going to be stopped well short of the first down. Mud Dogs are going to take over at the 35-yard line with some nice field position to start the second half. Next play is going to be a 1st and 10. It's going to be a quick throw to the left-hand side. Looks like it's going to go to Tim Smith once again. Tim Smith is just having himself quite the day, as he already has 4 catches for 82 yards. So, for a team that still doesn't pass it very much, definitely some really nice numbers. Next play is going to be a run to Casey Bug, who gains 11 yards on the play. Gets another first down for this Mud Dogs offense. Now the offense is definitely humming along. Thought we were starting to show signs of life towards the end of the first half, but now we are definitely showing it as Stan Castillo nearly gets a 3rd first down in a row on this drive. Next play is going to go to Ryan Wilson, and I thought he was going to stumble in there for the touchdown, but it looks like his knee was down at just about the 1-yard line. We'll just have to settle for Stan Castillo running it in all by himself. And the Mud Dogs, just like that, are going to take a 20-6 lead. Really nice blocking for this offensive line as Stan Castillo finds just enough room to make this a 2-possession game. Troy Trojans now have the ball, see what they can do. And it's going to be a quick throw over the middle. Looks like to Stephen Daly. Once again, he gets his 5th catch of the day. And it's going to be a short 2nd and 3. Next play is going to be a quick run to the right for Matt Conley. Runs the read option relatively well, and he gets the first down. Next play, this time Dale is going to drop back the pass, and it's going to be a nice little touch pass to the left-hand side as John Gatewood makes the catch and gets the first down. Troy Trojans now showing a little bit of sign of life for self, but it might be stopped by Bobby Boucher, who just lays the hit on Ben Hall. Bobby Boucher is having himself a game right now. 11 tackles with 2 of them for a loss. This dude has been everywhere on this defensive side of the ball. But that's going to, of course, be wiped away by Matthew Fuller, who gets behind the defense and catches a 44-yard bomb. A couple of plays later, it's going to be a quick run up the middle, and Ben Hall is going to make this just a 1-possession game once again. Troy gets their first touchdown of the day, but it's still going to be a 20-13 lead for the Mud Dogs midway through this 3rd quarter. So here we go. The Mud Dogs have the ball back once again. They scored on their last drive, but can they score 2 drives in a row? Going to be interesting to see if we can get another touchdown here as Tim Smith makes a nice 32-yard catch this time around. Nobody just seemed to be around him. too easy of a connection, if you ask me. But we're not complaining. Next play is going to be a run for Casey Bug once again, and he's going to cut up field for a nice 20-yard gain on the play. Mud Dogs are able to, just like that, just off a couple of plays, they are on the verge of the red zone once again. See what the Mud Dogs come up with now, and this time Stan Castillo is just going to take it and run using that incredible speed that he was blessed with, and it's going to be another first down for the Mud Dogs once again. Very next play is going to be another throw up the middle, and TJ Wood makes the catch, and it's going to be another touchdown for your Mud Dogs. Mud Dogs are going to take a 27-13 lead, selling the quarterback run once again, but throwing it over the middle linebacker, and it's going to be a 27-13 game. So now both offenses are starting to pick it up. Be interesting to see if the Troy Trojans can keep up with the Mud Dogs given how they played in the first couple of games this season. Bobby Boucher doesn't think they can after getting into the backfield with ease for his third tackle for a loss on the day. Next play is going to be a drop back pass, and thought the corner was going to be able to make a play on the ball, but he gets turned around, and it's going to be a 1st and 10 for the Mud Dogs. Next play is going to be a throw to the left-hand side. This time, receiver can't hold on to the ball, and it's going to be a 2nd and 10. So here we are, 2nd and 10. Coming off the incompletion, tight end goes into the motion on the right-hand side. Quarterback has plenty of time to get this ball off and wins the one-on-one battle. Chase Brown, that is. Going to be a huge game of 36 yards, so definitely really disappointing. Giving up a lot of big plays, it seems like, today. Hopefully we can clean that up a little bit so we don't blow this game, because that would really suck to witness that. And quarterback's going to be able to get into the... No, he's just short, but it's going to be down on the 1-yard line. What I thought was going to be a loss turns into a touchdown just a couple of plays later, as Ben Hall is able to get into the end zone for what I believe is his 2nd rushing score on the day, and the Mud Dogs only have a 1 possession lead now. Mud Dogs with the ball now. Stan Castillo is going to take the ball upfield for an 8-yard gain off the read option. Makes it a nice little 2nd and 2. Next play looks like make it seem like they're going off the play action, but he doesn't have any time to get the ball off as Stan Castillo is sacked for a loss of 10 yards on the play. Definitely pretty disappointing to see that. So now with the 3rd and 12, we're going to see if we can suck the defense in with a halfback screen, but that simply is not the move, Chief, as the Casey Bug gets hit for a loss of 5 yards on the play, and Troy Trojans are going to get the ball, and they're going to have the opportunity to tie this game up. So here we are, 1st and 10 off of a not very good punt off the freshman punter, as he's just going to chuck it to the right-hand side, and just like that, they are almost in the red zone once again. So here we are with only 1 second left, and it looks like we're going to be able to get away from the, at least get a little bit of a breather, as we are going into the final quarter of play here. So here we are in the 4th quarter. We're going to see who wants it more, as Troy has an opportunity to tie this game right up. First play is going to be a throw to William Hall, who gains 13 yards on the play, and it's going to be 1st and 10 for Troy. Next play, defensive lineman actually misses. He has the opportunity to make the stop, but instead, it's going to be a 7-yard gain on the play. A couple of plays later, Troy now facing a 3rd and 2, as it looks like they're stood up, but it looks like William Hall just barely got the first down, so it's going to be a very short 1st and goal inside the 5-yard line. So here we are with the opportunity to tie it. Do they take it? And it looks like Jason Washington just misses, as Matt Conley is able to get into the end zone. And it's going to be a touchdown for the Troy Trojans, as they have now officially tied this game up with 6 minutes left in the 4th quarter. Mud Dogs now need to respond. We don't want to give them an opportunity to take the lead. First play is going to be Carl Wright taking it up the middle for his 2nd carry of the day. Going to be a gain of 6 yards on the play. 2nd and 4 now for Stan Castillo in this offense. Thought it was going to be a sack, but he's able to slide to the right-hand side and throws a dart to Tim Smith, who makes the catch and gains 23 yards on the play. Tim Smith having an excellent day so far, 6 receptions off of 137 yards. Excellent day for the young freshman wide receiver. Next play is going to be a run for Stan Castillo, who tries to make a defender miss, but the safety was ready for that cutback. But it's still going to be a nice 14-yard gain on the play, nonetheless. A couple of plays later, it's going to be a throw to the right-hand side to Tim Smith, it looks like, as he gets another catch for 20 yards, making it 7 catches for 157 yards. These two are definitely going to be a duo that's going to havoc the Sun Belt Conference for the next 4 years, if I say so myself. Very next play, this time is going to be a throw to the left-hand side for Darren Joyce, who makes the catch and is able to break a couple of tackles in order to get into the end zone. And with 4.5 minutes left, the Mud Dogs are going to take a 34-27 lead. Troy will now have a chance to get the ball here with about 4 minutes left in the fourth quarter. But Bobby Boucher once again is there to light up the running back, although it's going to be a gain of a few yards on the play still. A couple of plays later is now 3rd and 9, and Nicholas Beverly breaks through a double team. And it's going to be a sack for 8 yards on the play. Looks like the Troy Trojans are going to have to settle for a free and out. So, huge series of plays for this Mud Dog defense. Now, the Mud Dogs will be able to get the ball here on offense, and Casey Bugg is going to run an out route, or not an out route, but a wheel route to the right-hand side, as it's going to be a gain of 18 yards, as he is just left wide open out of the backfield. Next play, now going to try to start to chew a little bit of clock here, as Stan Castillo is going to take a carry from the read option and is going to gain 6 yards on the play. 2nd and 4 now for the Mud Dogs, and we're going to try to catch them a little bit off guard with the curls, and we're going to get it over to John Espinoza, who makes the catch for 8 yards, and it's going to be a first down for your Mud Dogs. So now here we are in the mindset to try to run as much clock as we can, but we like to call this little money play, get it over to our boy Ryan Wilson, who makes another catch. Seems like his 8th catch of the day already, and this time it's going to be accompanied with a touchdown, as the Mud Dogs are going to now start to pull away here with now a 2-score lead. 41-27 is your score for this ball game. But the Troy Trojans aren't going to quit fighting just yet, as this time the halfback screen works and it almost goes for a first down. Makes it a very short 3rd and 1. A couple of plays later now, they're going to have to try to go for it here, and Ben Hall doesn't have any room on the left-hand side, as the Mud Dogs were simply ready for the running play. What a game, and it looks like the Mud Dogs are going to pull this win out. But before we get going, we're going to go ahead and put a little cherry on top and get a touchdown for Nate Colvin, as Nate Colvin makes it the 5th touchdown pass for Stan Castillo, pulling ahead 48-27. And while it was a valiant effort by Troy to get back into this game with the garbage time touchdown with about 30 seconds left, the South Central Louisiana State Mud Dogs are going to leave the Mudbog home stadium with a 48-34 lead. What I thought was going to be a defensive battle for about 2.5 quarters turned into some offensive fireworks in the second half. But, the Mud Dogs were able to get it going offensively, and were able to move up to 3-0 on the season. Definitely showing a lot of promise early on in just the second season in the FBS. So now, checking a look at the stats for this game, Stan Castillo with a really nice performance, 23 for 32 for 336 yards and 5 touchdown passes, with only that first interception coming on the very first drive of the game for the Mud Dogs. But other than that, really nice game for passing. Stan Castillo and Casey Bugg each have 15 carries apiece to their names, combining for over 200 yards rushing, with Casey Bugg taking a majority of that load with 143 yards rushing. Carl Wright also came in with 2 carries for 14 yards. Tim Smith is going to lead your receivers with 7 catches for 157 yards on the day. I thought he had more than 7 catches, to be honest with you, but he had a really good game nonetheless. 7 catches for 157 yards is definitely nothing to sneeze at, and to be able to do that as a true freshman in only his 3rd career college football game, is definitely a really nice accomplishment. Nothing much happening with blocking. Reggie Kerr, the junior redshirt from Hershey, Pennsylvania, is going to get a pancake. Don't know where the sacks came from because we definitely got sacked at some point. Bobby Boucher, though, is going to lead the team in tackles with a whopping 16 tackles total, with 15 of them being solo, and 5 of those tackles being tackles for a loss. Moving him to the middle linebacker position was probably one of the very best things that we could have possibly done for our defense, and as having him on the field more often, is really showing the true talent that this kid has. I would actually be shocked if Bobby Boucher does not declare for the draft when the season is all said and done, because this kid is definitely special. We did have 3 sacks as well, as with Nicholas Beverly getting 2 sacks on the day, and the other one coming from Doug Carrington, who is a true freshman. And then as a result of that game, we also got an upgrade, and with the performance that we gave out on the football field, had to put in another upgrade into game management, with the coordinators on the verge of getting another level up as well. So now our head coach is level 9, which is definitely pretty cool if you ask me. Alright, so next week we're going to have a rematch with the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers, as they gave us a really hard time last year. We nearly beat them, but something wasn't the case. But until then, thank you guys so much for tuning into this YouTube video. Really appreciate that y'all take the time to watch my videos. Make sure you leave a like, leave a comment for me, as I do my best to respond to everybody, and subscribe to the channel if you're brand new. Until then, I will see you guys next time. Peace.